Hi, everybody. Here we are, ready to talk again. It's a Wednesday night at about 8:30. It's Dr. Kelly. And I posted a little cartoon yesterday to prompt you to think about what we were going to talk about tonight. Over the last several weeks, maybe over the last month, I've had a little bit of a theme going on, and that's what I thought I would talk about tonight, since this theme is coming out more and more, and I've been having the conversations over again. Hi, Christy, and hi, Alicia. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here so much. I appreciate each one of you who have joined me every week. Hi, Courtney, and who watch on Monday as well. I love that a lot of you are sharing the video because it helps so many other people. I know there's lots of people who don't follow on Facebook either, so feel free. You can always, get the videos and send them to them, or, send it to them in a message, something like that, when somebody needs to hear the message. Hi, Gracie, Becky, Annie, and Nancy. So nice to have you here. I really appreciate that. So the theme has been some anxiety. And hi, Barb. Hi, Misty. Why I thought I would talk about it tonight is because I've had several different people talk to me about their levels of anxiety, and it's been very different. One woman had a low level of anxiety, yet it was creeping in on her daily activities. There's somebody who it bothers her more around her period, right before her period. And then there's also people who it is completely devastating for, that it has frozen their lives. They don't want to leave the house, and it has become completely debilitating. And so what I think is very interesting, and what I want to share, is bring you a different perspective of that. Hi, Penny and Tony. Hi, Andrea. A different perspective. Great, Becky got the natural calm today. That's fantastic. And actually, we talked about that on Monday, but we're also going to talk about that today or tonight, and how that can calm the brain. But let me tell you, this is what I did. So I looked up, or I went to, Google Doc. So I searched causes of anxiety, because that's what I want to share with you tonight. I'm going to give you some scenarios of different people, how they're experiencing it, and show you how they have different causes of their anxiety. But when I used Google, and I went to this very well-known website, you all have probably been there, researched something on WebMD. So it's very popular. There's usually great information there. It does give you good things to, increase your knowledge. But what I discovered when I searched for causes of anxiety, this is what WebMD says. Hi, Bev. Common causes of anxiety include these mental conditions. Panic disorder. In addition to anxiety, common symptoms of panic disorders are palpitations, dizziness, shortness of breath. General anxiety disorder, phobic disorders, stress disorders. Now, I haven't gotten very far, but what was the question that I asked? I asked, what is the cause of anxiety? Because if you know the cause and you take care of that, guess what happens to your anxiety? It goes away. There is a reason the majority of people who are suffering with anxiety have it. There's a reason for it. You got to figure it out. But WebMD helped me zero. It helps you zero to answer this question. Why do I have anxiety, WebMD? Well, we don't know, but anxiety can be panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, a phobic disorder. That doesn't help. Those aren't causes. Those are symptoms. And I think this is one of the biggest reasons why the medical community really struggles with helping somebody with anxiety, because they don't know to look for the cause. All they want to do is give you a medication, and they want to pacify it. And exactly, Annie, they only list things that they can medicate, right? So they also want to categorize it. Did you notice that too? Okay, well, you might have a phobic disorder, and you might have a stress disorder, and yours is just general anxiety because we can't fit you into a different category. The point is, those aren't causes. And you need to stop slapping on medications. You need to stop slapping on anything, whether it's something that might potentially be good for you. Linda, you said adaptogens. You're right. Adaptogens are great, but they are not going to solve your anxiety. There is a reason for the anxiety, and you need to figure that out. Essential oils, can they help? Sure, but they're not going to solve your anxiety. There's a reason that you have it. Same thing, we brought up already magnesium. Magnesium is very calming for your body. You know why that one is different? Because if you have anxiety because you're magnesium deficient or because you're dehydrated, drinking water and having magnesium will help your anxiety. Hi, Raquel and Marilyn. Does that make sense? It is totally what I want to get through to you tonight. And let me give you a couple of scenarios to drive this home a little bit more. So there's a gentleman that I work with, and he's in his mid-40s. He previously worked as a teacher. He worked full-time. He has a wife. He has children. He was going on with his normal activities until one day he started to have anxiety. Brand new. Out of nowhere. He doesn't know why. He is completely incapacitated. He doesn't want to leave the house. His wife forces him to leave the house so that she can help him by getting him help, to go to his psychiatrist, to go to his medical doctor, to get help from a nutritional standpoint, to try to do anything that she can to help her husband, who went from living a completely normal life through 40 years of his life till one day he started to have anxiety, till it came to the spot where it completely paralyzes him. He has so much, such a high level of fear that he can't step out of bed, that he can't go into the bathroom, that oh my God, the thought of leaving the house and talking to someone, going somewhere. This is a man who talked to people every single day for 20 years of his life and enjoyed his profession. Why is he paralyzed by fear? His reasons are not because of a lack of medication. And when I met him, he was on 3 psychotic medications, one of which made his anxiety worse, and they did end up getting him off of that. But his reasons for anxiety were actually mold exposure, an infection, and autoimmune thyroid disease. His antibodies were going crazy, okay? His body was going crazy on the inside. And he also had worked in a water-damaged building for about 10 or 12 years. Very big reasons that have caused turmoil in his body, not immediately when he was exposed, but that mold exposure and then autoimmune disease starting on top of that. He was literally falling apart at the seams. I felt I was so empathetic for this man. Hi, Holly. Hi, Karina. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Misha. Hi, Christy. Thanks for joining, everybody. Really appreciate that. So that's one example, and that was in a man. And he has started to make improvements, but he has not gotten his life back yet. But his reason for anxiety is not a lack of medication, okay? And that's really important to understand. Hi, Brenda. 41-year-old woman began having episodes of a racing heart. She notes anxiety. She isn't able to sleep anymore. She has nights of insomnia. She wakes up every single night between 3 and 4 a.m. Now she has extreme fatigue. She's suffering with depression. She's got no motivation. She's sick to her stomach half the time. And then she gets really, really hungry, and then she has diarrhea. And it started this summer. She's 41 years old. Why does a person who never had anxiety before have all of these symptoms? You're welcome, Karina. You're very welcome. And hi, Andrea. Very interesting, right? And they all started over summer. Now, this woman, when she first started talking to me, she's like, oh, I think I have an adrenal problem. She was already taking an adaptogen, something to help support her adrenals. I have an adrenal problem, and I think I have a thyroid problem, and they've already checked out my heart, and that's not my heart, but I'm on a beta blocker because I get these episodes of my heart racing. And so do you think that beta blocker, which slows down your heart rate, helped her feel better? No, it was making her feel worse. But she gave me all of her information, all of the information from her integrative doctor that she was seeing. And she's like, I think it's this and it's this. And, I need help getting all of these issues under control. And you want to know what I said to this woman? 41 years old. I said, it's not your adrenals. It's not your thyroid. She had all of this tested. And, there was something else. It was not something else. Sorry, I'm forgetting what that is right now. But I said, you want to know what it is? She had been working with her doctor and she had been improving her health. Guess what? She changed her diet over the summer. She started to detox. Okay, she went through a detox program to clean her body up. And then she weaned herself off of her antidepressant. And guess what? All of the things that she thought were going wrong. And let me clarify, does she need support in all of those things? Yes, because she started to fall apart, but she was having withdrawal symptoms from coming off of her antidepressant. She was on an antidepressant, and she although she weaned off of that, all of her symptoms were withdrawal from the medication. And her doctor didn't pick up on that for months until she and I talked about that. And she went back on her antidepressant and her symptoms started to get better. Now, am I saying that everybody should be on an antidepressant for their anxiety? No, I am saying her world turned upside down because she weaned off of a medication because she wanted to be healthy and she wanted to get off of it and her body could not handle it. So now she and I are working together to get her body stronger, to actually get her in a healthy spot so that we can wean her off of her medication or get her on other things to help with her depression, because depression and anxiety can be confusing. People often get labeled with depression, but they may have anxiety. And that may very well be the case that happened originally with this person, but she got put on a medication. She was on a hefty dose. She came off of it too fast. Her body couldn't handle it. She totally had withdrawal symptoms, and it was because she came off of her medication that everything started to fall apart. So her body needs a lot more support. It needs healing and it needs repair. And then we're going to work on getting her off of that medication or getting her on something else that's not going to give her such withdrawal symptoms, okay? But completely different story, right? Completely different story. How about this 33-year-old woman? She's got rashes all over her body. She has constant itching. Okay, so just try to imagine that. I've met so many women, so many of you like that, going through menopause or your hormones are changing, you're itching all over and you're going crazy and it's driving you crazy. And guess what? It's driving you crazy and you're starting to have anxiety about it because when is it ever going to stop, right? She can't hardly even tolerate being in her own skin. She is so emotionally exhausted. She's fatigued. Now she can't sleep. She has pain. She's getting fearful of people seeing her skin with her rashes. She's worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying. So she had this physical issue get started. And now her brain can't turn off about it. And it's driving her crazy. And the symptoms are driving her crazy. And every single day she feels like she's getting a little bit more crazy. Okay, so who else feels like that? So she's getting more and more anxious because she can't tolerate what she's going through. She's short of breath and she's feeling crazy. Want to know the reason? Food allergies. She's really, really allergic to a lot of foods. In fact, she doesn't just have the IgG delayed foods, she also has IgE food reactions that are making her body so irritated, so inflamed. And just imagine, I think about this scenario a lot when we talk about a child on the autism spectrum and those kids act out. And, think about the child who bangs his head on the wall, or the child who scratches their skin till they're bleeding, or, they hit themselves. They're trying to distract themselves crazy, so anything else feels like relief. That's what I imagine for this woman. And that's what those food allergies are doing to her on the inside and making her feel that way and making her skin react and trying to get rid of that. She also has, histamine intolerance, and then also was suffering from some infection in her gut. So again, I've given you 3 different scenarios, different levels and reactions of anxiety for different reasons. Okay, so not one of them is being solved by taking a medication. Okay, they're all going to be solved by getting rid of the cause. Okay, and I think I have one more example that I had written down, and actually this one I don't have an answer for yet because it's somebody new who has just reached out from actually a childhood friend. Her daughter, 17 years old, was just in the emergency department. Severe chest pain and anxiety, shortness of breath. What did the emergency room do for this 17-year-old who comes in with chest pain? Was she having a heart attack? No, she wasn't having a heart attack. She felt like she was having a heart attack. They diagnosed her with inflammation in her chest. She has anxiety. She has severe anxiety. Anxiety that actually is getting to a level that's crippling her, that's causing her severe pain. And we're just going down the journey to say, why? What's going on for this girl? She's 17 years old and she went to the emergency department with chest pain. It's her anxiety. It's her fears. And although where I started with WebMD, can people have mental disorders where they have phobias, they have unfounded, controlled, panic attacks, definitely. Can those things be happening? Absolutely. But I guarantee that they can be better controlled and so often resolved if we can get to the cause. What did we talk about with causes? An infection in the gut, autoimmune disease, thyroid antibodies going crazy, mold exposure, so a systemic infection, withdrawal from a medication symptoms, right? So food allergies, so many different things that can be tormenting your body. And if you just take the time and you go to a person who can help you figure it out, you can get some answers. And when you start to take those things away, those triggers, those causes, then that level of anxiety that was through the roof, giving people panic attacks, paralyzing them completely, or making them go to the emergency room because they think that they're going to die. I mean, they're not crazy with those symptoms. They're literally having physical symptoms because of all these things that are driving their body crazy, and they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do with it because it's so extreme. Think about a couple other things that can also be triggers for anxiety. Blood sugar. So if you are still a sugar fiend, if you are still eating a lot of junk, or if you're that person, somebody just told me this week as well, like, oh my God, I get hangry if I don't eat every 2 hours. Oh, well, that told me something about you. Your blood sugars go up and down and up and down and up and down. Do you think that can cause anxiety? It sure can. So we've got to get control on those sugar cravings. We've got to start cutting out some of that sugar to get you more stable. That'll dramatically help your anxiety. How about caffeine? Some of you might be really sensitive to caffeine and you don't know it. So if you like to have a cup of coffee, or you even teas have coffee, if you like to drink or eat things that have a lot of caffeine and you think that that's helping you, yet you suffer with anxiety or insomnia, I'm going to tell you, you need to cut down and you need to cut out your caffeine. It's going to make a difference. Caffeine can contribute to your anxiety. Thyroid, I already mentioned. Again, autoimmune disease. When a process has been triggered and your body starts getting beat up because you have a virus or iodine deficiency or something that triggered your immune system to start to attack your thyroid, and your thyroid's a really kind of an important little butterfly organ there that revs your body up or that slows it down. Can thyroid disease cause anxiety? It sure can. If you take something for your thyroid, if you get too high of levels of your thyroid hormone, if you're taking too much medication, can that cause anxiety? Actually, long time ago when I was first starting to do functional medicine, when I started to look at causes, one of the first women that I worked with, she had anxiety and she was always getting these heart palpitations, and she went to the emergency room after emergency room multiple times. Okay, what'd they do for her? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. Go back home. Her internist didn't catch it. When she came in, we tested her thyroid. She was hyperthyroid. Her free T3 was in the 5 range. Now, there may be some of you who feel quite good with a T3 in the 5s, but there are other people who that makes them irritated, agitated, and gave this woman palpitations, and she would go into the emergency department. Once we figured out her thyroid, we got her on the right dose, gone. Problem solved, and she didn't have anxiety anymore. We mentioned the natural calm or magnesium citrate in the beginning. So remember from Monday, we talked about things to get rid of the bloat and to help lose some pounds. Well, magnesium citrate can get the bowels moving a little bit more. But most people do so well with the magnesium citrate because they're deficient in it. And if you're deficient in magnesium, your body needs it. So it can be a reason that you don't sleep as well as you want to, or that you have some anxiety, and getting magnesium on board a couple times a day will help you poop more, and then it can also help you chill out and be a little bit more calm. Fantastic. It's a win-win situation there with the magnesium. Take a bath, ladies. Think about that old Calgon Take Me Away commercial. I mean, they had it right as far as get away from your stressors. Take a nice hot bath. Put some Epsom salts in there. And I know half of you know what Epsom salt is. It's magnesium. The magnesium will dissolve into the water. You're soaking in it for a good 20 minutes or more. And your skin is going to suck in all of that magnesium. It's going to help your muscles relax. You're going to relax. Put some lavender in there. There's a lot of good bath salts that are very relaxing as well. So I like to add some lavender in there with my Epsom salt, and it's wonderful for you and can help you calm down and just chill out. So doesn't that sound nice? I think that sounds pretty nice. I know there's a lot of you out there who do suffer with some anxiety, and I'm really sorry to hear that. So a couple of different little tips there. Think about, too, your hormones. This is the other big theme that I see going on. When women's hormones start to change, whether they're in that perimenopause phase or they've changed into, hi Mary, menopause, hi Tanya, and their hormones have changed. Do you think going from hormones that are this high and go up and down and up and down and up and down, hi Lisa, every single month, and then going to hormones that are here and they're pretty flat and that's supposed to be good for us and eventually it will be, you'll feel good there. But do you think that change can trigger anxiety? I'll guarantee you that it does. A lot of women start to have anxiety, start to have tissue changes, skin changes, other issues come to head just because their body is changing and their hormone levels are changing. Now, you don't have to suffer in that perimenopausal phase either. Finding out what your hormones are, where they're at, getting them balanced appropriately, that helps tremendously and can take your anxiety away as well. So think about those things. I gave you lots of little different things to think about that may be helpful, but the point, my whole point tonight was not to give you, here, take this for this. Here, take this for this. I don't want to do that. I gave you a couple of different scenarios of a man, a couple of different women, different ages as well, to say it can happen to anyone, but there's a reason, and your job is to help figure out why. Is it food allergies? Is it infection? Is it your thyroid? Is it your hormones? What is it that made you start to have anxiety? Because once you start working on that, your anxiety is going to go to a different level, and you're going to then figure out, well, how much of that is left? Okay, may go away 100%. Maybe it'll just get back under control because you were born a nervous Nelly and you're always just a little bit nervous. Maybe that's you, but you don't have to be plastered to the ceiling every day, all day, and be paralyzed to talk to people or leave your house. Okay, that's a bad situation to be in. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to scroll back and see if anybody had any questions. But go ahead and ask them now. Otherwise, then you're welcome, Tony, for giving a guy example too. I had started like women, and then I'm like, no, I got a great example of a man, and it's true. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It can happen to anyone, but women, it often happens to more, and I will probably say that's because of their hormones as well. So thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Carissa. Thanks for listening. I'm glad that you're here listening. I love to be able to help. Love baths when kids are finally in bed. Absolutely. Christy, that's a perfect plan. Penny says that caffeine makes her crazy. So she knows that she can't do too much of it or avoid it completely. Does the Calm Magnesium supplement help anxiety? Asks Tracy. Yep, it definitely can. Now, does that mean it's the cure-all for anxiety? No. When you're deficient, adding magnesium will definitely be helpful and beneficial, but there's probably more reasons or a bigger reason that somebody is having anxiety. But can it help? Absolutely. Absolutely. Postpartum, Misha, I knew somebody had commented something earlier. Great example, Misha, that if you just had a baby, no matter how recently, if it was a day ago, a couple weeks ago, maybe it's been within a couple months, postpartum changes you. You just went from being a cyclic woman, hormones up, down, up, down, up, down, to hormones sky high through the roof, amazingly out of control because you're growing a baby, to now you delivered the baby. And your body goes, oh my gosh, what is happening? And so it's your hormones. Your hormones need to be checked. Your thyroid should be checked because the stress of carrying a baby, delivering a baby, a lot of people have problems with depression postpartum, but it can also be your thyroid, which may need some temporary support because of what you just went through. So most important thing, Misha, is to find out what's going on so you don't suffer, so they don't just give you a medication to deal with it. There's a reason. There are imbalances happening. And if you just figure out what they are to get them balanced, you're going to be okay. So that's what I'd really encourage you to investigate and get some help with. Oh, totally makes sense. Fantastic. Adrenal issues for sure. Okay, address the cause. Anxiety can go away. Absolutely, Penny. Okay, I'm going back down to the bottom. Annie says, Himalayan pink salt help my anxiety. Probably. Big help from the minerals to calm everything. Absolutely. And you know what else, Annie? I recommend salt a lot, and it's because your body needs it. If we think about the thyroid, if we think about the adrenal glands, which are your stress organ, they don't work properly without salt. So yes, you are probably right that the minerals that come naturally in the Himalayan pink salt helped you, but it was also because there was probably a better balance, a better influx and outflux in and out of your thyroid, in and out of your adrenal gland that help you get better balanced. So great thing to, I'm glad you wrote that on there. Thank you. Carissa says she's taking some Nature-Throid. Oh, it's on back order. So you need to work with who prescribes that, Carissa. I know people are still having a problem with the Nature-Throid being on back order. It was supposed to be resolved. The pharmacies, thyroid, they all are equivalent from the standpoint that the concentrations are the same. So if you need to switch over to that for a while, that's what I would tell you to do. So Sarah, why don't you send me a private message? That would be great. And Misha, you are welcome. Oh, Julie, Carissa, Julie says that Walgreens did have it in stock. You may also have to switch pharmacies. I think somebody this week also told me that they had to go from their Walmart pharmacy to a CVS and then they were able to get it. So that works too. And yes, you should be taking the Nature-Throid with some Himalayan salt and iodine. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so everybody, thanks for joining me here tonight. If you have any other questions or comments, or if you joined later, you weren't here live, please put your comments in because I do go back and try to look for new comments and address those. If you have any specific questions to your health, you can always just send me a private message. Thanks for the heart, Misty. I really appreciate that. Linda and Penny too. So thanks for joining me tonight, but we're going to cut it off. If there's anything new that you'd like me to talk about, please just put it in the comments or send me a suggestion so that I can always be bringing you some things that you want to hear about. And don't forget to share the video. I so much appreciate it when you share the videos. So sleep good, have a good night, and I will see you on Monday as we get ready for Thanksgiving already. Good night, everybody.